we've talked a lot about SEO. And so I think a lot of people that might be a little worried, actually, let me just read the question. I've heard you and many other marketers discussing SEO and SEM. I sort of understand what it means, but not entirely. I feel ashamed to ask, but could you explain what SEO is and how it can affect my business? And I feel for you. I was like this maybe a year ago until I started watching a lot of your videos. So a lot of these questions, it's okay if you feel like you said, if you're ashamed, please respond to us, send us a message, and we can try to answer it for you.
First of all, with regard to marketing, there are no bad questions. I mean, there's a lot of acronyms and things like that are thrown around like SEO that people in the industry, we assume everybody understands what SEO or SEM or things like that are. But the reality is a lot of times people don't understand what they are, but they don't want to ask the question. I can almost guarantee you, I appreciate that question coming in because I can almost guarantee you for every person that does understand what all this stuff is, there's people out there that don't, and I guarantee you asking this is going to help maybe dozens of other people that don't know, but they're like, they don't want to spend the time, they don't want to ask, they're afraid to ask, they don't want to look dumb, whatever. So first of all, there is no dumb questions. Second of all, we're just going to start really basic. So SEO, the acronym SEO stands for Search Engine Optimization. SEM, which you also sometimes see, is Search Engine Marketing. So let's break down exactly what those things are. So Search Engine Optimization refers to the things that you would do in, on, and around your website to optimize it such that when somebody searches for relevant search terms or key phrases or whatever, that your website is populated in the search results. And ideally, the higher, the better. If you show up number one, that's the best, and down from there. But the higher, the better. So SEO, all that refers to is all the things that you may do to try to make that happen, to come up high in the search results. That entails the content on your website, the way your website is structured, how there's keywords on your website, how your images are optimized. All those different things can come into play when Google crawls your website, which is another term I'll just explain real quick. The way Google determines which websites to populate is they actually crawl your website, i.e. they read what's on your website, and they try to connect the dots. So when somebody searches for a particular thing, they will try to populate the results with websites that they feel, based on what their algorithm shows, are going to give the person searching the results they're looking for. So all the different things you would want to do on your website play into search engine optimization, as well as what you might not think is user experience. So the speed of your website, how easily your site's navigated. If somebody goes to your homepage and leaves from your homepage without visiting any other pages, that's considered a bounce. So Google tracks that. So what that is an indication of potentially is that the person that they sent to your website didn't find what they were looking for, so they left. So Google's looking at all these things to try to populate the best results for the person that's searching on Google. That's their intention. You doing all the things on your website, in and around your website, to paint the best picture for Google so that they put you into those search results more often than not, is what would be called SEO. So again, I hate to give such a lengthy description, but I want to make sure I'm thorough on it. SEM would be, there's another way you can get to the top of search results, and that's with something called like Google AdWords or search engine marketing. So that means you would actually go in and you would create ads, and you would define the keywords or key phrases that you want to come up for, and you would pay money to come up as a sponsored post at the top of those results. So accomplishing much the same thing as SEO, but you're actually paying for it. So it's search engine marketing. That doesn't really have to do anything with what's on your website. You're just paying money to say, I want to be at the top of these search results, so I'm going to pay money to be there. So a combination of SEO and SEM is going to be how your company comes up. It should be noted, too, that localized SEO, Google Business plays a role in that. How your Google Business page is constructed and what's on there plays an impact of how you show up in the map pack. that I also would include as part of SEO as well. So your Google business page as well. And again, the biggest thing you want to keep in mind when it comes to SEM, a lot of people might think, well, my organic results or my SEO is good enough that I don't need to do marketing. And that's certainly one way to look at it. But you also can look at it by doing marketing like AdWords. You could show up there organically or free. You could also show up there paid, and you could show up in the map pack. So at the top half of the page, you could have 3 listings for your website versus 1. Gives you three times the chances that you may get that click versus another company. Now, I'd be the first to say, if you're dominating the number 1 position in Google ad in the organic results or the regular search results and the map pack, you might be able to get away with not doing a whole lot of SEM because you're already coming up very well on the pages. Where SEM might be a good fit for somebody is if it's a brand new company and Google hasn't had a time to really register their website yet and get them coming up in the search results. You might, for a period of time, use SEM or Google AdWords to be populated until your website has a chance to start populating based on its own merits. So I apologize for the long-winded result, but I wanted to make sure I was thorough about it so people really understood.
No, that makes a lot of sense. The one thing I was going to mention too, I see it a lot on TikTok, because a lot of younger people are using TikTok and some of these other social media things as their search engine. Like instead of going to Google, they're typing into the top, like, how do I do this? Or how do I do different things? So to make sure that if you are doing social media posts, whether it's TikTok, Instagram, making sure that it is search engine optimized for the post, like the text that you're putting in there, you're hitting keywords and you're explaining things, even if it's a longer piece, like have 1 or 2 lines of the sentence that people will see as the feed comes up. But then obviously when you click that more and more text comes down, you can fill that in with optimized keywords and stuff like that so that it does show up in the search within that platform. But as well, even if you're doing it on YouTube, obviously that's Google. So if you're searching on Google and these things come up on your YouTube page, you want to make sure that you're packing it full of key phrases and explaining the specifics of what you're talking about within that post. So just make sure that you kind of, I know this is a lot that we're throwing at you, but it's one of those things where, for me personally, I'm using AI to do a lot of different things. I go through and I read through everything and make sure that this is exactly what I want. But if I want something a little more compact that has better grammar and better sentence structure than what I'm able to do, that's one of the tools that you can use. And instead of sitting there trying to sit at your keyboard and think like, I have no idea how to do any of this stuff, like that's what these tools are used for, to help you be more efficient and save time instead of sitting there typing out 4 or 5 different paragraphs of keywords and explanations when you can have an AI do it, as long as you're proofreading it and making sure that it's exactly what you want to say.
Well, the other thing to keep in mind too, a lot of people don't realize this because they don't think about YouTube this way, but YouTube is the number 2 as far as size search engine in the world. Google's number 1 by a long shot. Google is number 2. A lot of people don't, YouTube is number 2. A lot of people don't think about YouTube as a search engine, but essentially it's a search engine for videos.
Yeah.
That's the result. The results come up in videos. And with smart TVs and things like that now, I feel like the consumption of YouTube videos is going up to a great degree. I think I mentioned this in a previous episode, that a lot of nights, if I get a chance to actually sit down in front of the TV, which doesn't happen that often, but if I do, a lot of times I find out I want to go and watch something exactly what I want to see. So a lot of times I find myself on my smart TV going over to the YouTube channel and just looking up a video that's about exactly what I want to watch and watching that instead of watching Hulu or Netflix or something else. I'm actually on the YouTube. So again, I think YouTube is big. The other thing I would say with real quick about videos, a lot of people don't understand that when you post a video to Facebook, it doesn't automatically give you a title and all those other things. Sure, you can put in a caption of what that video is about, but you should also go in and edit the video, and you could add a title to the video. You could actually add tags to the video about what the video is about and give a lot more context about what that video is going to be about than just the copy that you put in the post. So if you're not taking the time to title your YouTube videos and things of that nature, you're actually probably missing out on some opportunities to get some additional views and things like that, because it doesn't happen automatically. When you go to post a video to YouTube, a lot of time, or Facebook, a lot of times it'll just go straight in. It doesn't let you do a title unless you go to the edit button after the fact.